Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We have a fantastic webinar for you. We're going to be talking about customer experience, and more importantly, really amazing customer experience that's going to help you win more sales. And we call that design serendipity. And quite frankly, it's a great way to win over customers with a little luck. So when we talk about customer experience, it really boils down to, though, at the end of the day, more sales. And more sales is really the key for your business, right? After all, you're spending a lot driving traffic to your online store. You're grinding out every little bit of your site, trying to optimize it, looking at all the data and seeing where you could squeeze out even one more extra conversion. But you always need more, right? And we really know that the pressure is on, and really at this time of year, as you're getting ready for the holiday season, you need that amazing customer experience. You need design serendipity. Now, before we jump into everything, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. All participants will be muted for our about 35-minute webinar today. We will be recording this session, so you will receive a link via email as a follow-up. If you have any questions at any time, please type them in. There's a little Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Just click on that, and we'll either answer the question if it's a logistics thing right away, or we'll be doing a Q&A session at the end, so we'll make sure to answer your questions then too. Now, my name is Bob Angus, and I'll be your moderator today. I'm a strategic marketing consultant working with SLI, and I'm an e-commerce evangelist. I love great shopping experiences. And I've been fortunate enough to help merchants out in my work at PayPal, Symantec, and Commission Junction. And I've also been a contributing editor at Practical E-commerce. Now, today you're in for a treat. I'm joined by a very special guest, Loy Maxwell. Now, she has led the creative vision and strategic marketing for some of the most influential and I feel most beloved brands that are out there today, including Starbucks, Target, CVS Pharmacy, OldNavy.com, and my daughter's favorite, Mattel's Barbie brand. Also, Loy has published on this idea of design serendipity in Forbes, and in fact is so good, she's working on a follow-up book on this very subject. So very excited to have Loy here. Now, here at SLI, we do talk a lot about customer experience. In fact, in the latest Q3 edition of the E-commerce Performance Indicators and Confidence Report, or the EPIC report, as we call it. It was actually published last week. Customer experience remained a top initiative. So folks that were polled, online businesses, 16% of them, of those online merchants, identified customer experience as their number one priority. And that's really important. Actually, in the 3 quarters that we've been doing the EPIC report, customer experience has been the number one of all of the priorities. So it continues to remain on top. And more, it's about the data. The data is something that we look at every single day that's driving online shopping experiences. Now, at SLI, we use artificial intelligence to help use that data to drive the best shopping experience. You have to put the best products in front of your visitors at exactly the right time. And so using artificial intelligence to help out with your site search, your product recommendations, personalization, navigation, I mean, really all the facets of your online shopping experience. If you're using artificial intelligence and the data behind that, you're going to be working on all cylinders. And it's going to work together, all those elements, to present the right product to your shopper. It's the product that they're most likely to buy right then, wherever they are on your site. And so we really use big data to drive that design serendipity using artificial intelligence. But I think Loy is going to be able to build on that, because there's so much more that is there for customer experience. So we're going to talk about that today. So I'm going to hand things over to Loy. Loy, can you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Yes, well, thank you everybody for having me. Thank you, Bob, for having me. I'm really excited to share this information and look forward to giving some really solid examples to help your customers. But my background is one where I've spent about 15 years in corporate working for brands such as Target, Starbucks, Mattel. I've had a consulting business that was really robust, working on rebrands and brand strategy for companies such as Easy Spirit, Old Navy. And then I started venturing more into some of the entertainment companies, because I've noticed that branding is becoming much more important for them and how they go about capturing an audience and extending the life cycle of those customers. So after all the experience I've had in this space, I've kind of stepped back a bit and was really thinking about what was it that these companies, or the companies that are really successful at capturing the love and loyalty of their base, what are they doing that others aren't? So, Bob, just let me know. I was going to jump into some of the ideas.
Yeah.
I know you're going to have some questions for me. So however you want to proceed, I'm happy to do that.
Sure, yeah. Why don't I ask, I mean, this is the first question. I mean, we all know that customer experience is important, but I guess what are the trends that are driving that?
So one of the biggest trends I'm seeing now, as far as what's really sticky and allowing customers to really connect and ultimately convert to buyers, is content. Content is now becoming so critical that as I sit here in Los Angeles, the need and the beast needs to be fed constantly. And there are so many writers and producers and people who are really producing work that, quite frankly, is at such a speed and such a pace that brands are really looking at that investment. If you look at this Wordle, content creation, when you look at all the different things that are going out, especially when it comes to online entertainment and online consumers, content creation is really strong because it actually captures that audience and makes them feel a part of a community. A lot of this we already kind of know, but what's so interesting is how it actually can drive sales and improve your business.
Excellent. Well, so we want to win customers. We talked about, for that shopping experience, right? You want to get the sales and having that great customer experience. Can you tell us kind of like, okay, what is design serendipity really? How do you define it?
Okay, so the article that was written by me and a writing partner who is actually a computer scientist, we realized that there are ways to partner data and creativity and branding to give your customers a stronger emotional connection. When customers have this sense of winning and a sense of unexpected excitement, they kind of are drawn back to your brand and they want more. Of course, you have to deliver on that, but the facets that we outlined in our article and our future book are a new twist. This is where coming up with new and innovative ways that break out of what you currently, your comfort zone as a company right now, can actually drive more sense of luck, well-being, and excitement. Shared connection. This is how you keep them interested in your brand, by having something that they feel they're a community and they feel a part of. Magic. This is really kind of the part of this idea, this framework, where customer service needs to almost feel magical. Not necessarily in the sense of how Disney does it, although they do it phenomenally well and they probably invented it. It's how you can create that magic, how it works for your business and your brand. Jackpot, this is the value component. This is where, I've always said couponing is not going away. Discounts and sales are not going away. But how you do them could definitely impact how your customers build a connection to you. And then giving love and getting love. I think this is the loyalty component, where having a dialogue with your customers and giving them that extra benefit or that extra perk will only allow them to talk about your brand in social media or by word of mouth, and then therefore they're going to give love back.
Excellent. Well, and so I guess can you drill down? I think those facets. There's probably a lot to actually getting that done. Can you drill down on those? Absolutely.
And what I can say is all of these 5 facets might not work for your company, or they might not be practical, but if you can even connect with 1 or 2 of these, you could actually create a winning combination. So when you see this, and the winner is you can feel it almost. I don't know why, but I feel that excitement, even just looking at this slide. And I think that the win is unexpected value. This is how companies ultimately deliver. This slide was taken from a campaign by Volkswagen. And it's that you've spent you've been smart with your resources. You've paid what you thought was a fair amount, and then you get even more back in return. And I think Volkswagen is the perfect example of who can do that. They can sell very affordable cars, really high quality, and unfortunately they've gone through some challenges in the past, but I think that their brand can withstand this in the long run.
Right, and that's really because with that new twist, right? You go like you have that anticipation. You're like, and the winner is, and then boom, you get that above and beyond what you planned for or what you expected.
Yes. So the new twist, and how I'm referring to it in context to what we've been talking about, Bob, is the unexpected value. So this is on and offline. People want to have a sense of consistent newness. They want to have a sense of good fortune. And I think you can develop ways to do that within your brand that feel right and provide that unexpected value.
Excellent. Now, you talked about content. What about content?
Content-rich experience is a new era of online experience, is having your brand, the brand you love, not just be great places to purchase goods and services, but also have information and quality nuggets of value that suit and complement your lifestyle or a need, whether it's a health issue or you're interested in sporting or you're interested in fashion, beauty, anything that enhances your life. there's content behind it that will absolutely create a stronger connection to the brand. So in Design Serendipity, it's shared connection.
Go ahead.
Yep, shared connection, content-rich experiences. Where and how you serve this up really depends on where your customers are. If they're heavily into Instagram, get them on Instagram. A leader in the creative space that I'm very close to ultimately said she creates her Instagram as if it's almost like a mini magazine, and people want to look at it and look through all her posts. And I think that's something that, as a brand, moving forward, you can do incredible things. And then, of course, on the other social platforms, there are videos, there are, any type of benefit you can share and talk about. The platform is there. It's just where your customers are based upon how you are targeting them.
Right, and that really is key. Understanding exactly where those folks are, where they're not, that helps you prioritize, but then also helps you start cross-promoting your content as well, so that it truly does get the person that rich experience wherever they are when they're there and ready to receive that message.
And I would say, don't be afraid to test and learn. I give the example of Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's site. That's a lifestyle site. I think she's had a lot of controversy about some of the health claims. I would say that is definitely going to erode some level of credibility for Goop, but at the same time, she's captured an audience that really will, and people like myself who are just curious, who will go and see what she actually has to say. And I think that and of course now we know she's selling supplements, she's selling all kinds of lifestyle products. And I think that if you can actually connect what you're selling with what is appropriate in the industry or in that lifestyle segment, to connect those two things and provide more information, I believe that brands are going to be having I call them chief content and conversion officers. I really do. I believe that at some point those two things are so interconnected. And I don't think it'll be necessarily just a part of marketing. I think it will actually be a much deeper part of even sales.
So the third facet.
So this is where investing in exceptional service and providing exceptional benefits is really about that magic. This is where you want to create something that feels seamless, unexpected, like magic. You hear a lot of companies these days talking about their salespeople as stylists or as chief, magicians, or I know there are several examples of this. And I think that however you want to position your staff and your team and have language that supports a magical experience, it doesn't have to be fantastical, like I said, like Disney, but it definitely can be as simple as a barista versus a coffee clerk. It can be as simple as, a concierge versus just an assistant or a salesperson. You can really create that sense that they're getting exceptional service because you're providing them with something above and beyond just what they would get typically. And I also think there are things such as, an undissatisfied customer either approaches you online, sends you something, or it connects with you in some way. I think that if you can actually turn that around and make them feel absolutely special, no matter how irate or uncomfortable it may be, I think your team would feel that they've done a service, and that purpose alone can make a customer feel so incredible, can convert them back to you.
Yeah, in the online world, I think folks continue to test different ways that they can do that. Certainly, you mentioned the staffing and personnel. That's critical. It's got to be engendered into your organization. But then you see things like even just, old school fulfillment. When you're shipping that product, you're not just shipping it in a box with a packing slip in it. The box itself has some branding element, or more importantly, what's inside the box might be something magical, a coupon, a reason to rate or review a product, something that ties, that gives them really almost back to that unexpected value, that extra magical experience. You can put that in the box now.
That is the number one way I believe customers, well, first of all, free shipping if you're on return is always an added benefit. But if you are to do something such as include that a special product or make them feel special, like they've received something extra, that you're right, Bob, like they could make a review on it, or, hey, we really wanted you to test this out because we'd love your feedback. Any little thing to create that added surprise and make them feel special is going to definitely make them more loyal.
Excellent. But we all like to win. We want that big payoff, right? The jackpot.
There's a reason why the casinos are always packed. And I think not preying on the weaknesses of some, I would say that even though, I know people who are just incredibly astute at couponing and really almost even try to look at ways to work the coupons and the benefits and the loyalty benefits so that they can really get the most out of their purchases and their experience. And I think that sense of winning is one of the strongest connections you could ever build. It just leaves people feeling like there's going to be more and anticipating more. So one of the biggest ideas of design serendipity, and why it's even called design serendipity, is people feel like they've won because it's unexpected and it's not necessarily told to them what they're going to be receiving or getting. And that's why it's designed. You've designed a sense of serendipity, and they can actually feel good about what they've done and their purchase, and they can feel good about your brands because they've got that sense now that being engaged with your brand is good luck, good fortune. And so that connection is very, very sticky. It's exactly why people continue to go out to Vegas. It's why people continue to coupon, continue to search deals. Everybody loves searching for deals and good value. It makes them feel smart. And so I think that's a very strong piece of this. And I think there are so many ways that brands can do it.
Excellent. Now, are there any examples of that, or actually, I guess you tie that all in, right, to build your brand, right?
Yes, I would say a perfect example, and this is a non-traditional example, but when I was at Target and we started the designer program, Go International, where we started the partnerships with designers to create these exclusive only, short time only windows, the people would come into our store and not even know that was happening and that was coming, and they would get so excited, feeling as if they were getting a high-end luxury brand at a bargain. So I think Target does a really good job of having these unexpected moments. So many brands do a good job at this. Flash sales, the flash sale sites. I have to say, I know so many people who cruise flash sales. they don't even really want to buy anything, but they're just expecting to see something as offered at a ridiculously low price. And I think that's a perfect example of where that design serendipity comes into play. When they think they can actually win, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And guess what? Those flash sales, they sell.
You can't resist them.
Yep.
And the thing is, I think what's exciting about them as well is they attract customers who might not convert, or who typically, if they went to a typical site, would just, peruse. Flash sales tend to get people to buy.
Excellent. So the fifth facet of design serendipity, our voice.
Yes, I have worked with several companies. One in particular, Phil's Coffee. It's a brand that was originated in San Francisco. It's quickly growing across the country. They received significant investment, and as they were trying to grow, they were concerned that they were going to lose that great energy and culture that they had built in being a small coffee house. They did not want to be a big corporation and have this very ubiquitous corporate tone voice. And let me tell you, Starbucks does it great. But I think that Phil's really wanted to differentiate. And that's where we can talk about knowing a brand voice. And we worked very closely with the CEO and his leadership team and really got down to the bare bones of what they stood for as far as their values, how they speak, how their, I think they even call them coffee consultants, speak, because they want to craft a drink that's perfect for every customer. They listen and talk to you, and how those coffee consultants and how the customers speak was how they wanted to structure their voice. And so when we ultimately kind of nailed it down, they really have done a great job as they've expanded in owning that voice, keeping it consistent, and always keeping it authentic.
Yeah, that's
and this
really
is where
important.
this is where I'm kind of talking about give love, get love. Brands, really have to have conversations now, and they're not just talking to people. So that dialogue is critical. It's a dialogue you'll have when you share content. It's a dialogue you'll have when you get reviews on your product. And that's where knowing your voice is going to really help you. And you may have a voice that's got a lot of personality, has an authoritative, like credibility, like CVS Pharmacy wanted to have a very light, but still credible pharmacist voice. So when you talk to your pharmacist, they're not super serious and scary. They're actually very friendly and inviting, and they want to talk to you about your medications. They're there to help you with over-the-counter medications. That was the voice they wanted to take. They didn't want to take a strong medical voice. They wanted to take a very lighthearted but yet serious and incredible voice.
Yeah, they were having a conversation with their customers, and they knew what they wanted. And they listened.
And they want reassurance. Yeah, they know their customers wanted reassurance. Their customers wanted expertise, but they didn't want a heavy, authority on medical advice.
Exactly. So now, Loy, at the beginning of the webinar, I mentioned, a lot of the folks on the webinar are getting ready for the holiday season. Do you have any, kind of final tips on how can they do this right now so that they could put some design serendipity into their holiday season?
I'm sure at this point in time, everybody's had very solid plans for their holiday and how they're going to pace their promotions and Black Friday and, what sale items are going to be and specials are going to be. I would say pick one area where you can provide something very unexpected. Really go for it. I think good things happen when you go for it, when you find a space that feels rather safe and it, could be exciting. It's a 1-day special offer, the 10th, review we get on our site, pick a product, and when someone orders that product, will they get this special 50% off coupon? Those are the little things you do that could actually drive that word of mouth. If someone were to say, oh my God, I just purchased something and I got 50% off suddenly, through a coupon code or something. Those are those little unexpected things that you don't necessarily have to provide in volume, but if you provide it once or twice or a little bit there or here, it can get you a lot of great word of mouth, a lot of great feedback. Right? That's one of the things. And then I also say that the best things happen unexpectedly. And I say this only because it's both ways. Consumers love to be surprised when it's a benefit. That they don't like to be surprised when it's a failure, of course, of any product, but they like to be surprised when there's an added benefit. But then also unexpectedly, you may discover something you did worked even better than you thought, or something you worked just didn't work, had no buzz, no interest. And as long as you're really thoughtful, I think that you can have a incredible impact really without much planning. You can actually do something very on the, impromptu. So that's something I think you can do at this point in time. And it's the perfect time to do it because people love that excitement at this time of year.
Of course, yeah. They're ready. They're looking for that aha moment, that magical experience, and they're trying. They're buying things online to create magic for others, to their friends and family and folks. So I think that everybody's very open to that, and so that's great. We'll have to make sure we're employing a little design serendipity in our shopping experiences. Well, Lloyd, thanks so much. Design serendipity, right? It is that ultimate customer experience, creating the unexpected, and with those 5 facets, employing those together, you could really again create that aha moment. But actually, wanted to open things up for questions now. We have a lot of great folks on the line who I'm sure have some questions about. Well, okay, how do I do this for my business, or have some specific questions? So please, again, folks, the Q&A button that's at the bottom of your screen. If you have a question, go ahead and enter it by clicking on that button. While folks do that, want to remind everyone, I mentioned the EPIC report, the e-commerce performance indicators and confidence report. The Q3 edition was just published last week. You can find that on our resources page. Go to www.sli-systems.com/resources. So on that resources tab, on the navigation on the website, you're going to see a lot of great information, including the latest and greatest EPIC report. So Lloyd, I'll field some questions here. We got a couple of them that came in. Actually, this first one is a good one. It was, you've worked, Lloyd, you've worked for big companies. Is design serendipity just for big companies, or can you make visitors feel your brand when you've got kind of a small footprint?
I actually think mid-sized, smaller companies are even more nimble and can actually deploy these principles even quicker and even at very low cost. I think it's really about having this as part of the conversation and trying to figure out where you can win. So if it's content creation, it truly has become so much more affordable to create content. There are plenty of freelance producers and writers and people out there who can do this for you. And I believe that even creating complementary experiences with other brands or companies that can actually enhance your company. I think about, how, a small beauty company could partner up with a hair care company or partner up with a lifestyle company and do things together to create experiences.
Yeah, and I think, I'll add on to that is that a lot of times as a smaller business, you're more nimble than some of the bigger brands. You might be even closer to that customer, so you're getting that direct feedback straight to you that frees you up to go, ooh, this is my chance to really, act exactly right now and go for it right now and create that magic moment. Whereas maybe sometimes the big brands have to plan it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
there's more risk.
I think that. Yeah, exactly. So I think as a smaller business, you're close to the customer, or you're close. Everybody's close to their customer, but you're uniquely positioned to hear it directly and act on it.
I was going to mention I was just going to mention real quickly. Sorry, Bob. They can tap into their team and people on their staff and leaders in their organizations to be the voice of expertise, especially if there's someone in the organization who's super passionate about what they're doing. You could always tap into them to provide those online posts or those communications or those videos. I've seen it done over and over again with big and medium and small companies. So that's one recommendation.
So we actually have a kind of a good follow-on question. It's a segue to how do you work with big brands? One of the questions came in is like, Amazon is one of my biggest customers or really channels. How do I execute some of these facets on Amazon?
So, meaning that Amazon is his platform?
Yeah. So as a small business, a lot of times, you're selling because Amazon, and we actually, another epic plug here, we talked about Amazon as co-opetition. It's a channel. So a lot of businesses resell their products through Amazon. Does Amazon allow, or are you familiar with some ways that you could use Amazon as that big brand to help your small business?
So depending on who is fulfilling, I think if you are fulfilling yourself, if it's drop shipped from your company, I think, Bob, your suggestion on creating that special experience in the box is a huge opportunity for you to create that connection and make people either feel like they're winning something when they get an extra perk, or they feel like there's magic in how you package your goods or how you service your goods. I think also driving them back to your site, as many of these companies have sites, if they want more information, if they want more expertise, if they want, great ways to use the product, added technologies, or anything that can enhance the customer's use of their product, driving them back to your site so that they can actually experience it. And of course, I think when you do the search and you go through Amazon, it's a really unpersonalized, impersonal experience. It's really commoditized. I think that they are actively working on that and actively trying to figure out how they can make it feel, a much more of a experience. I have a lot of friends at Amazon, And so what I believe is you, as the smaller e-tailer, can actually use that to your benefit, because you'll be able to be seen via Amazon. And once you get that purchase, you now have control of that conversation. So I think that's how you look at it.
Yeah, and that's critical. I was going to add that a lot of companies fear working with Amazon because they think that, well, that transaction's with Amazon, and so that's not my customer. I'm selling some product and I'm making some profit using my normal margins on that. I'm getting the traffic lift that people shop at Amazon. But the ultimate fear is, but I want it, that's a customer that I love, and Amazon wins that customer. There's actually some ways that you can do that, and using design serendipity, content in particular. Amazon does let you send emails to your customers. I ordered a milk frother for my wife, and the company is Gourmia, I think. I was not familiar with Gourmia, but I bought it on Amazon. They sent me a series of emails that were not just transactional emails. They were, and they didn't even ask for the review, or I would recommend that you do ask for a review. But they said, here's some recipes.
That's great.
How can I use the milk frother for this? How do you clean it? And then they cross-promoted other related products that I might like that they offer. So they really did a good job of using content. And Amazon, just because they're purchasing, your customer's purchasing on Amazon and that's your channel, doesn't mean that you lose that touch to your customer.
That is the perfect example. And so I think the main thought, the critical thought there is, they may have found you via Amazon, but once they've engaged with you and converted and purchased from you, you have control of how to keep them. And so you're right, Bob, it's content. It's offering them something special, unique, really thinking about how you speak to them and have a dialogue with them. And obviously now you'll probably go back to their site and check out what's going on more often. So good, really good example.
They're customers. They're not transactions. So, when you work with Amazon or some of these higher volume channels, a lot of times it's easy to go for the sales, but you remember you're going for the customers too. We have one last question. And this is actually about Starbucks. So how does with your experience, how does Starbucks feel they leverage design and communication to differentiate them from the competition? So I mean, your experience at Starbucks and at Phil's, how does Starbucks do that?
Well, it's really interesting to me how both Starbucks and Target were very, they weren't as data-driven as some other companies I've worked for, where CVS was incredibly data-driven. Starbucks and Target were really driven by their gut, and they had very strong leadership, Starbucks especially through Howard Schultz, who had a true vision of what they wanted. What ultimately then transpired is Howard brought on like close leadership experts in store design and packaging and brand experience and online that he trusted. He was almost like a conductor of an orchestra. And what I see that Starbucks does that some other companies don't do is they truly invest in creative, and they invest in some of the best minds in that space. They also are very strong at technology. I think being in Seattle, they've had a lot of access and the ability to have that ecosystem of talent circling between the Amazons, the Microsofts, and the Starbucks. And then I also think that, you know, they care so much about their customers, their purpose, what they mean to people, that purpose and that drive to create an incredible experience did actually lead to better design, to better perceived value, to better quality. And so I think that they do have to work hard on managing their costs, managing expenses, being very thoughtful about what they invest in, but they've been very sensitive to what is the right thing to do for the community. And I saw this especially when they were moving into China and into India. I think there was a lot of test and learn. There was an immediate realization that the Chinese consumer was much different. They had a different kind of flavor profile, so they had to adjust their food offerings. And they also had a different behavior. They drink tea day to day.
Right.
Coffee's not there. There's not lines going out the door in the morning. So they realized that coffee was kind of a special dessert experience. And although they're still educating the market, they are still trying to be where their customers are. And that's at the end of the day, when you're going on a date, you're going out with your family, you want to have a nice dessert and a nice cup of coffee. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Lloyd, thank you so much. We actually went a little over time. We had such a good discussion. I think this is
Thank
Design
you.
Serendipity
This was
is
lovely.
going to help so much. Yeah. So again, Lloyd, thank you so much for your time. I think everyone learned a lot today about Design Serendipity, and probably have lots of great ideas already, jotted down ways that they could help create that magical Design Serendipity moment, and yes, hopefully win some more customers this holiday season with a little luck.
So much
Lloyd,
fun.
thank you so much.
Bob. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Have fun, everyone, and have a great holiday shopping season.